All right, welcome into the first installment of the Coach Mark Schmidt Show, year 2. It was such a big deal last year. They demanded to come back. Aria Health, everyone needed it back, so we're here again, week 1, season 2. I know you're happy to see me.
Another year of punishment.
That's right. We're gonna curtail it, make it easier for you. I do promise about that.
None of those favorite ice cream.
We're done.
Flavors.
We're done. I know too much about you.
Dog walks in the woods.
Yeah, I don't want to know anything else about you. I promise. So that's done.
Thanks.
Well, here we are, week 1, Northeast on Friday on WBCB1490.com. Once again, the Coach Mark Schmidt Show is presented by Aria Health, your hospital in Lower Bucks County. I'm here with head coach Mark Schmidt of the Chamois Football Redskins. 19th season here at the helm at Heartbreak Ridge, and here we go, week 1. A familiar opponent last year, same opponent, but a new coach, new installment, new offense, new defense possibly. So it's kind of like you guys are starting from scratch again because you don't know what you're going to see week 1.
Yeah, we know we have an idea what we're going to see. We did scout them 2 times, and this new coach has a lot of Northeast experience. I think he was a long-time assistant when the coaching staff changed 2 years ago. He took a head job at a small school, Jenkintown, and then all of a sudden he took over. I think he works in the building. I think he knows them. And judging by the way the players respond to him and his coaches, very organized. They play very hard, and I was very impressed with their Saturday scrimmage as far as their intensity and flying around. Usually some schools with not as many, in the public league aren't as organized as most are, as early enough. But I really didn't see that. I really saw them having a good plan and working very hard.
You mentioned one thing about the public league, and this guy, Coach Gormley, appears to be kind of that's his home of sorts, the public league, is that they will be tough, physical. They're Philadelphia kids, and you think of Northeast, and they got a starting DN up at Penn State. I'm sure you're familiar with playing DN. So it's a school with a lot of talent. So it's a good test week 1 for you as well.
Well, they've what I was impressed with their team's speed as a group was very good. I mean, they have some big kids in the middle that move around very well in their box, but they've got some guys that can really cover ground. And the group that really impressed me the most was their defensive front. They've got some long guys that can really come off the edge. They've got some big, thick linebackers that are filling and playing well, and 1 or 2 of them are returning starters we're very familiar with. So they're familiar with us. So we spent yesterday really kind of just indoctrinating our guys into this level of intensity, and coming off a scrimmage like Downingtown, we're familiar with that.
I spoke with Coach Matt Rule Temple when he was here. It was a great day. For those of you who don't know, Temple came out and scrimmaged at Harry Franks Memorial Stadium about a week or so ago. Beautiful weather, nice facility. It was a good day. And I spoke to him about being in a new conference, playing new opponents, and not really having a feel for him. And this year, you get Northeast with a new coach. You played Downingtown West week 2. You never really played before. So, before you get into your league schedule with teams you're sort of familiar with, you play 2 teams that are just relative unknowns. How much difficult or harder is it for you and your staff the first couple of weeks to kind of get going when you're facing opponents you haven't seen really yet?
Well, that's where I look at it as us having a little bit of an edge because of our staff being so long together.
Right.
And we pretty much finish each other's sentences. We all know what needs to get done. We're very much aware of we're not one of these underestimators. And none of them cut corners. So they're all very conscientious in preparing our guys, and we're attacking it 1 week at a time. And once we finish with Northeast, then we spend our time on Downingtown.
Talk about a couple of guys now. Week 1 we'll be seeing on the football field, and we'll talk later in the show about some training camp hopefuls we saw as well. But you got a nice mainstay of seniors we mentioned in the Chamois Football Preview show that have been here for a long time. They know the program. They've been here since they were freshmen. And that's rare to see at such a big 4A school like the Chamois. How helpful is it for you to see a guy like Luke Carazola or Cole Creighton or Denny Lord who have been in the program for so long?
Well, it's a plus. I mean, and the thing, and immediately I'll say also, you want to make sure complacency doesn't turn into a minus and familiarity. And the good news with 2 of those guys, and all 3 of them, Luke's a guy that's very hard on himself. He doesn't need any coaches really to get on him. He doesn't like making mistakes. Cole and Denny are two guys that are playing new positions this year, and really dove into both of them to help our team get better. And really, I think they're positions that are really suited for them. So, they're spending time really working on their craft. They're not just sitting back in the same position that they played and kind of feeling like they got all the answers, because they don't. And the third guy, has been with us for 4 years, is Devin Brown. And Devin Brown had to battle Devin Brown for a little while. And if there's a guy that I've been happy, I couldn't be more happier with, it's him, with the way he's got off to the start of this off season and this preseason. And he's had a great camp, hard working, smiling, talking, leading, and really had a solid 2 scrimmages.
It's game week this week now. Starting yesterday, it was. Is there a different mindset in your guys? Do you try to preach something different when it's game week as opposed to training camp or things like that?
Yeah, because the training camp, when we had Downingtown, I mean, we showed some things. We were more looking at some Northeast things, and we were looking at some Downingtown West things, getting time to implement. And Downingtown's very diverse and organized, and very polished teams. So we were looking forward to this scrimmage, and now it's Northeast, and we had to get everybody ready for the Downingtown scrimmage. Everybody organized, everybody ready to go. Now it's okay. We're squaring up our scout teams. We're getting look squads. We had a good. We really used yesterday as a very good day for us, and our young guys now know their roles and jumping in special teams looks, so we can get reps and not bang our head against the wall, and be efficient. And so I have to say, the first day, the tone was set, and I think the guys followed suit and jumped in on it.
We'll see how the tone is set this Friday against Northeast at Heartbreak Ridge at 7 o'clock here on WBCB1490.com. When we come back, we'll talk about some training camp guys and maybe open some eyes who look forward to having a big fall this year on Heartbreak Ridge here on the Coach Mark Schmidt Show, presented as always by Aria Health, your hospital in Lower Bucks County. We'll be right back.
At an orthopedic institute, world-class specialists, surgeons, and technology are a must. Personal care is too. The Aria 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City, Bucks County, and South Jersey. With over a century of experience, the 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For joint replacement, sports medicine, spine care, and more, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the Aria 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
All right, welcome back to the Coach Mark Schmidt Show, presented as always by Aria Health, your hospital in Lower Bucks County. We just got done talking about the Week 1 opponent, Northeast. Let's talk about some of the guys we're going to see who maybe we didn't see last fall. We mentioned Denny Lord and Cole Creighton, Luke, Trokin, Bushmail, the mainstays in this team, but you had a whole linebacking core you had to replace. You had a running back you had to replace. Talk about some guys maybe we didn't see last fall that we're going to see more of a role this year.
Well, DeAndre Pollard, he was a very solid JV player for us, backup for Nate, and did some very good things. DeAndre needed a year in the weight room. He needed to kind of just get stronger and get a little mentally, a little tougher. Mm-hmm. And he's been off to a good start. I like the way he's moving around and doing well, and that fortifies Trokin and Devin, who are also tailback type guys. Hampack and Denzel Hughes are two guys that are big, long wide receivers, and Denzel's also jumping back into our secondary. Ham is part of our nickel package. Denzel was a freshman last year. Leonard Forrest came in when Justin got hurt, and was a little overmatched, obviously, but to his credit, the off season really benefited him. And Ham's a guy that we parted ways mid-season last year, and he came back. We had a long talk in the spring, and all Ham has done is come back and really, just show up and be consistent and work on getting better. And he's been off to a good start. So those guys, J.R. Stevens, another wide receiver that's played well for us. Billy Ritchie, he's a ninth grader. Hunter Kelly, those guys. Matt Wynn moved in. He's a senior, finally getting a shot at playing O-line, diving in with both feet. Danny Johnson played last year. Mike Palmer. So, it's nice to see those guys doing those things. And, Matt Bianchino's another guy playing linebacker for us, who's a long, athletic guy. So, it's nice to see those things. The other kid is Matt Maggs, playing corner. Very fast kid. Certainly fast enough, strong enough, athletic, lacrosse guy, real solid there. So there's a lot of that going on, and it's nice to see these guys finding their niche and really getting good at it. And we've just got to keep creating some depth. So if it's hot or if there's somebody that needs a break or if somebody goes down, we've got to make sure we're just as good in those positions.
The one position we love to talk about year in, year out, and no matter who it is, week one is the quarterback position.
Sure.
In years past, you've had some mainstays. You started a sophomore 5 or 6 years ago, and Andrew Flogel was here for 3 years, and you had other guys that were here for a long time. And the past couple of years now, it's been who's the hot arm in a sense. How much more difficult is that for you? How much more pressure is put on Hamid and DeAndre and things like that?
I didn't bring up those two guys because I knew you probably would bring it up.
Okay.
So, and
no matter who it is.
Tyler Wamball and, do we have to think?
No, that's fine. That's just part of the show.
Okay.
Right.
Tyler Wamball and, Mason Jones are two guys that all summer have worked hard. I got to give Dalton Fox and I've got to give Brendan Jordan a lot of props.
Mm-hmm.
Brendan was a really good baseball player. He's got a lot of ability. Dalton's a guy who didn't play last year, quarterback, because of arm problems. He's now back. They're a little behind the gate, but they're two athletic guys that we're excited about with our younger program. But these two guys, having Tyler's been a 3-year guy. He's been a long time. He's been a quarterback since 9th grade. He understands the offense.
Right.
Tyler, I think the biggest problem for our football team right now that we'll talk about that I worry about is our guys putting too much pressure on themselves. Mm-hmm. And he's a guy that does that. Mason, I don't think, has to do that yet because he's still a 9th grader. But Mason's been a ball boy for us since he was 5, so he knows the situation. So it's unfortunate that we have, not a lot of playing experience, but we sure as heck have two guys that understand what Neshaminy football is all about. So, that's not been an issue. I mean, the intensity that we try to create and practice is a level and the competitive level that we try to create, allows them to really see as close as they can to what they're going to see on Friday. And we try to create it, and that way Friday can be fun, not stressful. So, and I think they're coming along. They both have some positives, and they both have some things they got to work on.
We'll end on this. Week one, it's fun to get the guys going. The one maybe negative is that media members like myself, we put out these rankings, these all kinds of press clippings that I'm sure as coaches you love.
Sure.
But we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Neshaminy getting some good recognition across the state, across southeastern Pennsylvania as far as a team. It's got to feel good for you. In the same sense, you worry, like you mentioned, the guys being too hard on themselves, and here they are early with these nice rankings.
Well, it's interesting. I find these sports writers very intriguing. They say all these things about us, but then when the Inquirer comes out and they rank positions, there's 2 quarterbacks that we got in our league. There's 2 running backs in our league. None of them from Neshaminy, but they got off to that start so far. So I'm like, okay, well this is good. I'm glad they're giving us this much publicity, but we don't have anybody who's very good.
Right.
So and there might be 1 or 2 guys that might acquire something that might get on that list somewhere. But look, it's great to have preseason expectations, but we talked about this in February when every day we'd start the weight room, and everybody knew we had a good group of guys coming back. Everybody knew that we had a good finish. We had a tough middle and a good finish, and we found a way and did some things. All those little coaching buzzwords you like to say. But so our game was going to be circled on a lot of people's schedule based on the fact that we're supposed to have a lot of guys back. So therefore, you're supposed to have a higher level of expectation. You know what we do? Sure. We're not sitting here saying, "Oh well, shucks," well, bull crap. We want to go out and play, and we want to have that, pull our neck, have that swagger. We want to play hard between the whistles, and we want to, compete and do it the right way. And I think we've got a lot of guys that are mentally on board with that, and they've got to, that's where we just got to just keep tightening things up a little bit, and that's where we are.
Well, listen, Coach, I appreciate you joining me. We're going to end each year without any questions to Coach Marshall.
There's no questions?
There's no questions.
You know what?
Well,
I was driving in today. I'm thinking, all right, what's Miro going to come up with?
Well, we're going to switch it, though, because at the end of the last year, we started giving pick'ems and games and things like that. So, and any people who are gamblers, do not take this. This is not, we're not swaying the lines of these picks. These are just fun picks. Yes or no, who's going to win? First game you're familiar with because your wife's an alum, big supporter.
Oh.
Up at the Meadowlands this weekend,
Yeah.
Penn State and Syracuse. If you look at it from your direction as a Penn State fan, you think victory. But the line is very slim. Syracuse with a new coach in Scott Schaefer. Who do you got? And I hope your wife isn't listening. You pick Syracuse. So,
you know what? I knew Justin Pugh was at Syracuse, and the quarterback was. They both got drafted pretty high, so they lost two real good players. So, and I know Penn State's got some quarterback, got a quarterback decision to make, but. O'Brien.
Do you and Bill talk about that?
I'm a huge fan of O'Brien.
You guys are both kind of in the same situation.
I just got off the phone. That other phone call.
Is that Bill calling?
Another phone call was from Nick Saban.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? Come on, man. Shoot, let's go with Penn State.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Makes your wife very
I don't
happy
want to have
about.
cold spaghetti.
That's
tonight.
right.
Okay.
Second game, it's a fun one. West Coast, microwave dynasty in Boise State. Chris Peterson.
Boise State.
And Washington, Pac-12 contender this year. Steve Sarkisian.
What?
He's an offensive genius. You can take that into effect. Just go Washington, Boise State. I wanted to give you games that no one else are picking.
I mean,
I
I
could have
don't
gave you
even-
the Alabama Virginia Tech game, and you could easily pick Bama.
Yeah. Well, it's basically a guess. Is what
Okay.
you're saying. So all you want me to do is guess.
You like
So,
to pick the programs.
I think that Peterson guy. I think Peterson's a great football coach.
So do I.
Sarkisian's good, but I'll go with Boise.
Boise. So Boise, Penn State. Do not use these. He picked them. So we'll see how he does. He said he does next week. And we'll see how he does on Friday night at
The only
Heartbreak
game
Ridge.
I'm hoping I pick right is us.
There you go.
Shoot,
And we cannot pick
I
that.
could be 0 for fall.
That's
if I,
right.
as
And we
long as
cannot pick that
us.
game because
So,
Pete Rose has familiar got in trouble because of that. So,
I-
Coach,
I've never done a coaching pool ever.
Really?
I don't even do
NCAA,
I don't
nothing?
do anything. Bowls, nothing.
See, he knows.
I never did. You know what? That's money down the toilet for me.
Pete, if you're
I never
listening,
won.
okay, pal, Coach Marshman has the answer for you. Do not gamble ever. So, Coach, I appreciate you joining
Save your
me.
money.
We'll see you next week. Once again, presented by Aria Health, the Coach Mark Schmidt Show. Northeast and Chamonix this Friday night on WBCB, 1490.com at Harry E. Franks Memorial Stadium. Come on out and support the Redskins. For Matt Miro from WBCB, head coach Mark Schmidt, take care. Have a good week, everybody.